Good morning. Sunday the 13th of February. I finished my Valentine's flowers, winning. And so I'm out here sorting out the greenhouse ready for my seed sowing bonanza. And can you see, I have got a sandbox here with cable running through it. And it's hot cable. So when I turn the cable, when I plug it into the electric source, the cable warms up and the sand warms up. So this is quite old and ancient. So I'm topping up the sand with some fresh sharp sand. I'm just running my hand over it, just getting out any bits of moss. It's winter. There's a bit of moss, the occasional self-sown nettle, and I'm just going to top it up and make it ready for my seedlings. Meanwhile, I've put the family are washing the polytunnel outside in the pouring rain, winning again. And I've worked out how to make the microphone work, or rather, a friend of Fabrizio's came to stay the night, and he said, why don't you try playing back once you've filmed a thing, but taking out the microphone from the camera, and it works. Anyway, onwards and upwards. We don't have a minute to spare. It's a truly horrible day. So we're cleaning the polytunnels because it's already wet. So we're all going to get soaked to the skin. Look at the brushes on long sticks, very useful. And I'm chopping up with ordinary sharp sand from the garden centre. I'm a big fan of, just because I'm a business, I don't have to buy half a ton of everything. I buy small quantities when I need it. And so I just went to the garden centre yesterday and got 4 or 5 bags of sharp sand for chopping up the beds in my greenhouse. So I'll show you when I've finished. I think you'd be quite bored watching me do it. So this is now got a couple of inches more nice wet sharp sand. So the hot cable is just a couple of inches down and it's nice and wet. If you're going to put seeds to germinate on sand, it must be wet, because what happens to hot sand? Yes. And you don't want to burn the roots of your little seedlings. This is a very bog standard way of doing it. There are much more sophisticated ways of propagating material, but this is extremely inexpensive. So it works for me because I'm always looking for the cheap option. The whole box is just it's a box made of bits and pieces of leftovers. It's lined with polythene, the same sort of plastic that you would cover a polytunnel with. A couple of inches of sand, electric cable running through in a same sort of pattern as underfloor heating, a couple of inches of sand on top, and then I can measure. Here are my seed trays, are all the same size, so I can see how many seed trays I can fit, and then I can sow exactly the right number of seed trays to fit my greenhouse. There's no point in sowing 500,000 seed trays if I've got nowhere to put them. So I'll tell you when I've counted. I'll just check. Yes, I knew this already because I've done this for years, but I'm a strange person who likes to check. So I have counted, and I have plenty of room for the 20 varieties of seed I plan to sow. I can get 6 going that way, 3 going that way, and I've got 3 of the same kinds of benches in this little greenhouse. This greenhouse is 6 foot by 8 foot. That's all I need. I don't need vast amounts. I'm a flower farmer growing a lot of little bits to go in through the season. So I'm not like a nursery person who's growing acres and acres of seedlings to sell to people. I need all of these to turn into good sized plants. So I can measure really exactly how many plants I need to grow, and I can sow exactly the right number of seeds. And if you look back at my seed clip I made recently, you'll see that I was measuring the space I've got outside, so I can really make sure that I grow exactly what I need, because otherwise it's a waste. Waste not, want not. Now, next, I have to wash up my trays and make them clean for fear of pathogens, mould, slug eggs. Because I want my seedlings to have the best chance in life, and I will wash exactly the right number of trays because I know exactly how many packets of seeds I need to sow, and I know exactly how many seeds of each packet I'm going to sow. So I know I need 20 trays. Oh, you get my drift. Anyway, I'm not going to make you watch me wash up 20 trays because that would be boring. It's quite ruthless the way we fill our seed trays with a garden spade. But there we have 20 seed trays ready to go. I will admit, I find sowing seed really very exciting because when they germinate, it's really very exciting. I appreciate this may be a niche thrill, but I really find it very exciting. This honeyweed, great Leonorus sibiricus, for those of you who may not know the familiar name. And I sowed it last year and grew it kind of as an experiment. It was such a success. I'm definitely having it again. Oh, look at the promise in those little tiny seeds. By the way, you can join me on a seed sowing workshop. I have a seed sowing demo coming up and a specialist sweet pea demo coming up. So do join me. You'll have to go over to my website, look at the workshop calendar, pick the ones you'd like to do. There are loads to choose from, and book it. Right, I'm going to sow these. So there we have it. I have sown 20 different varieties, lots of different Rebeckias, Scabious, some Cleome. I hate Cleome. Why am I sowing Cleome? Cobiscandens, anything I think likes a little bit of a bottom heat, anything that sometimes is a fiddle, anything that I need a lot of. So things like Ammi Major, Sammy Visnaga. Obviously I've got my first crop coming on in the polytunnel. So they will be flowering from the end of April, I hope, all being well. And this lot will be pricked out and eventually planted out in April. So 13th February. So really not for a while they'll be planted out. But this is my second. If you come on my Flower Farmers Year workshop, you'll see that this actually works out as my third sowing. If I start with biennials in June, hardy annuals in September, second hardy annual crop here, and so on and so on. Come on my Flower Farmers Year workshop. I can't remember when the next one is, and I give you the whole thing. It's long, complicated, quite tight, and very organised. For example, the reason I'm working on a Sunday and the children were cleaning the polytunnel was because it is half term, and I would like to take a day to take the kids out, and we'll do, have a bit of a trip. And so therefore we all work on a Sunday in order to make a mid-week day available. Do you see? It's, back and forth, and then it all works out. Anyway, I better go and put the roast potatoes on, otherwise there'll be no Sunday lunch. The greenhouse is clean, the polytunnel's clean, the greenhouse beds are topped up. I haven't switched them on yet, so all my seeds are going to actually stay in here for a night so I can make sure they really absorb a lot of water, and then they will go out into the greenhouse, and they will also have little plastic lids on to really hot them up. Anyway, enough of this. Please subscribe to the channel. Press the bell icon and we'll tell you when we've got new clips coming up. And if any of these clips or tricks have tips or tricks that have been useful, please buy me a coffee. The link is in the blurb to this clip and all my clips. Thank you for coming, and I hope you've enjoyed the added bonus and the clarity that comes from having a microphone. Happy days. Right, next thing I've got to do is work out how to do captions. One thing at a time, no rush. See you later. Tra.